Dear students, this is your 12th standard economics. You are learning the 5th chapter monetary economics. Today we have to continue the 5th chapter monetary economics. In the last class I taught about what is money and definitions of money, evolution of money, the types of money, barter system, gold standard, metallic standard, paper currency, silver standard, plastic money, cryptocurrency, everything we discussed. Today we have to concentrate functions of money. Okay. The primary functions of money is money as a medium of exchange. This is considered as the basic functions of money. So money is working as the basic consideration of the money. So it has the quality of general acceptability. So general acceptability and all exchanges take place in terms of money only. All the exchanges takes place in the terms of money. On account of the use of money, the transaction has now come to divided into two parts. First, money is obtained through sale of goods and services. The first one is sale of goods and services. This is known as sale. Okay, whatever selling the goods. Through the selling the goods, we can get the money. Later, money is obtained to buy goods and services. After that, which is income of the producer, and then they have to spend the money to purchasing goods and services. This is known as purchase. Now you can say one is sale, another one is purchase. Thus, in the modern exchange system, money acts as the intermediary in sale and purchase, isn't it? So, money acting as a intermediary like sales and purchase. Once it will come through sales and it will go through the purchasing goods and services. So, money as a medium of exchange. Then, money as a measures of value. Money as a measures of value. The second important functions of money is that it measures the value of goods and services. So, we can measure. In other words, the prices of all goods and services are expressed in terms of money only. We can say how much the prices we can ask, then only we can purchase, isn't it? That's why they are saying the second important functions of money is measuring the values of the goods and services. Without the prices of the commodity we cannot buy, isn't it? So that money is thus looked upon as collective measures of value. Since all the values are expressed in terms of money, it is easier to determine the rate of exchange between various types of goods in the community. So through the measurement only we can easily determining the rate of the commodities and exchanging activities will be going on. So that the money as a measures of value. Secondary function. This is the secondary function. Money as a store of value. Savings done in terms of commodities were not permanent. So, with the invention of money, this difficulty has now disappeared and savings are now done in terms of money. Money also serves as an excellent store of wealth, as it can be easily converted into other marketable assets such as land, machinery, plant, etc. So that not only savings, but in the invention of money, this difficulty, okay, savings is a difficulty as a money itself. Okay, if we are going to save the money as it is the form of money itself, which is very difficult to keeping on. So that money it also converted into other marketable goods like asset. See that the rich peoples and all are they using the money as it is? No. They have money is converted as a land, machinery, house, property. So properties and all. Money as a standard of deferred payment. Borrowing, lending were difficult problems under the barter system. They experienced in the olden period, the people experienced like that difficulties. That's why they invented currency, isn't it? Money. In the absence of money, the borrowed amount could be returned only in terms of goods and services. So, if there is no absent money, only borrowing system or barter system going on means the borrowed amount could be returned only in terms of goods and services. Goods for goods, service for service. But in the modern money economy has greatly facilitated the borrowing and lending process after invention of money, which is called modern money economy. So it influenced and facilitated the borrowing and lending process easy. In other words, money now acts as a standard of deferred payment. Okay. Money as a means of transferring purchasing power. The field of exchange also went on existing or extending with the growing economic development. So that the exchange of goods is now extended to distant lands. It is therefore felt necessary to transfer purchasing power from one place to another place. Because of money only, we can purchasing everything one place to another place. From here to we can purchase any other places. So that it has transfer purchasing power. So exchange also went on extending with the growing economic development. Can you understand? The investors investing capitals on the land means they can purchasing goods, which means raw material from one place from other place or one place to other place. Okay, so purchasing power is transferring one place to another place. The third function is contingent function. Basis of the credit system. Money is the basis of the credit system. Business transactions are either in cash or non-cash. Non-cash means credit. For example, a depositor can make use of checks only when there are sufficient funds in his account. The businessman or depositor can use checks instead of money. They can transferring money as a check. The commercial banks create credit on the basis of adequate cash reserves. But money is at the back of all credits. Okay, if they have credit, they should have account. Okay, money in their account. So money is at the back of all the credits. Money facilitates distribution of national income. The task of distribution of national income was exceedingly complex under the barter system. I talked about the complex of barter system. Okay, exchanging goods for goods is very difficulty on those days. So that the task of distribution of goods and services of national income was exceedingly complex. Complex means difficult under the barter system. But in the invention of money has now facilitated the distribution of income as rent, wages, interest, profit, everything. Okay? So that very easier to work the commercial functions and business functions because of money. So that the invention of money has now facilitated providing the distribution of income as a rent, wage, interest and profit. Money helps to equalize marginal utilities and marginal productivities. Consumers can obtain maximum utility only if it occurs expenditure on various commodities in such a manner as to equalize marginal utilities occurring from them. Now in equalizing the marginal utilities, money plays an important role. So The consumer can obtain maximum utility. They expecting maximum utility when they are making expenditure on various commodities. It will be they expecting it will be equally distributed. So now in equalizing these marginal utilities, money plays an important role because the prices of all commodities are expressed in money. So that money only playing a vital role here. Money also helps to equalize marginal productivities of various factors of production. So the money is equalizing the factors of production. What are the factors? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur in the production process. It can be equalize the various factors of production. The marginal productivities of various factors of production. Money increases productivity of capital. So it can be increase the productivity. Okay, productivity of capital. Money is the most liquid form of capital, which is liquidity form. In the other words, capital in the form of money can be put to any use. It is on accounts of this liquidity of money that capital can be transferred from the less productive to the more productive uses. Can you understand? So because of money only, the liquidity money if we have in the hands, then the capital be transferred from less productivity to mass product or more productivity. These are the contingent function. Okay, 4 functions under this concept we learned. Other functions. The last function of money is other functions. Money helps to maintain repayment capacity. Money possesses the quantity or quality of general acceptability. To maintain its repayment capacity, every firm has to keep assets in the form of liquid cash for transaction and immediate wants. To satisfy their immediate wants, they keeping some portion of money in their hands, which is liquidity cash. So that to maintain its repayment capacity, every firm, the producer, every producer has to keep asset in the form of liquid cash. The firm ensures its repayment capacity with money. So likewise, banks, insurance companies and even government have to keep some liquid money, which means as a cash. So as cash, they keeping some cash in their hands. They hold. For what? To maintain their repayment capacity. Whenever they want to repay, immediately they can repay if it is a cash form. The next one is money represent generalized purchasing power. So it can increase the generalized purchasing power. They may be a producer or consumer. Purchasing power kept in terms of money can be put into any use. It is not necessary that money should be used only for the purpose for which it has been served. So that purchasing power increased by money. Okay, it can be generalizing that. Money gives liquidity to capital. Money is the most liquid form of capital. We know that in the first point itself I taught. Even though the banks, insurance companies and government also keeping some liquid form of money, isn't it? So it can be put to any use. Whenever they need, immediately they want to payment. If it is money is ready to pay, they should be keep some money so that it can be put to any use. Next concept is money supply. The next concept is supply of money. Money supply means the total amount of money in an economy. Overall, the amount of money measured. Okay, the supply of money only measured in an economy. It is money supply or supply of money. It refers to the amount of money which is in circulation in the economy at any given time. Money supply plays a crucial role in the determination of price level and interest rates in the economy. So it only play a vital role to determining the prices of the commodities and interest of the banks. Money supply viewed at a given point of time is a stock, and over a period of time it is a flow. Okay, time and time stock. Okay, we know that the stock and flow. So we can understand about the stock and flow of a period during any period. So this is money supply. Meaning of money supply. In India, currency notes are issued by the Reserve Bank of India, RBI. The coins are issued by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, GOI, Government of India. Besides these, the balance is savings or current account deposit held by the public in commercial bank is also considered money. Okay, so though the currency notes are issued by RBI and coins are issued by GOI, the balance is savings or current account deposit held by public in commercial bank. It should be considered as money. Okay, so what are the how much of savings keeping by the people in the commercial banks? So then only the deposit, like deposit, asset, jewels, like that, whatever savings and balance, everything, this should be considered as money. The currency notes are also called fiat money and legal tenders. So that here the fiat money is currency notes. Understood? Money supply is a stock variable. Money supply is a stock variable, but here RBI publishes information for 4 alternative measures of money supply, namely M1 money, M2 money, M3 money and M4 money. Very important. This is supply. Money supply is a stock variable. Okay, one more question they can ask. So RBI introducing the 4 types of money supply, which is M1, M2, M3 and M4. What is M1? M1 considered as currency, coins and demand deposit. Okay. M2 money is M1 money plus savings deposit with the post office saving bank. And M3 money. M3 money means, so it including M2 plus time deposits of all commercial and cooperative banks. Whatever the deposit keeping by commercial banks and cooperative banks, everything added with M2 money. The M4 money is M3 plus total deposit with post offices. This is M4 money. Here you notice the point, M1 and M2 are known as narrow money. Okay, you should keep in your mind M1 and M2 are called as narrow money. One more question they may ask. M3 and M4 are known as broad money because M1 and M2 is the currency, coins of demand deposits. M2 saving deposit with the post office saving banks. So these are all narrow money, and broad money is M4 and M3. Okay, the gradation are in decreasing order of liquidity.